What is up, YouTube? I am Eric and you are watching Retro Video Game Pickups. In this video we are talking about weird and odd Xbox original accessories. So if you like games, consoles, or product reviews, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification. With that being said, let's hop into it. Okay, so in my hands I have a bunch of weird and wacky Xbox original accessories, and I kind of wanted to talk about them. A few of these I've had in my collection for a while now, and a few of these are something that I added within the last few months. So there's a bunch of good stuff here that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Now I'm really excited for the last thing you saw in the thumbnail, but we're gonna hold off till then. Let's talk about a few controllers before we get to that. Okay, so one thing that I wanted to talk about when it came to kind of weird and odd Xbox original controllers or accessories was I wanted to make sure that I took a moment to talk about the DVD remote. Now this is pretty cool. You can control your Xbox original with this, but this isn't odd or weird nowadays. But the reason I included this was because this was actually a pretty new thing back in the days of the Xbox. You had this game console that could actually double as an entertainment system, basically. You could play DVDs with this remote, and basically it was totally awesome because nothing had really done that before. So this is a controller that you would control the Xbox and be able to play. Now you could use the regular controller that's wired, but why use a wired when you could use a wireless remote to watch your movies? I know this is a thing of the past, but I thought this was really cool to talk about. I've got the receiver plugged into my actual Xbox that I use down below, but honestly, these things you don't see very often. They're not something that are like sought after or anybody really even wants them, but these are weird and wacky and back then because you just didn't have this. This is the system, along with the PlayStation 2, that really brought the whole media idea of actually being incorporated with the game console system. So this is something that I wanted to talk about just purely on the fact that it was something that you didn't expect when you would buy a game console, and that is the Xbox DVD video remote control. Okay, so sticking with the theme of wireless, I wanted to talk about a wireless controller that's kind of actually is sought after nowadays with Xbox original controllers, because honestly, wireless controllers are the way to go, and I think this next one is really is kind of odd just because of the way it's different from the actual controller itself, but it's also a wireless controller in the time that you didn't have wireless controllers. You didn't have any wireless first-party controllers, so the next best thing was the Logitech wireless controller. Now they made this for the Xbox and for the PlayStation 2, but this one is specific for the Xbox. As you can tell, the ring is green there. I have a PlayStation 1 down here. Obviously, it's for the PlayStation 2. It says PlayStation and it is blue, so that is one way to figure this out. Now, this is a cool controller in itself. It fits great in your hands, and that's why this is very sought after. Now, it has a plug for the receiver end to go into the actual system, but this has all the buttons that you would want and need for your Xbox to be able to play. And also it's got these really sick see-through green joysticks, so you can actually see the mechanics within them, so that's pretty cool. But this thing is pretty awesome. It feels great in your hand, and honestly, wireless controllers were not something that you were readily available back in the days of the Xbox, so that's why I wanted to talk about this. Logitech killed it with these, and I wish we had some good controllers like this. Good third-party, I mean, because honestly, most third-party controllers are just not really even worth it in today's day and age. Okay, so now I wanted to talk about a wired controller, and this one is odd. I found this at the flea market I want to say I spent $8 on it. But it's very interesting, and I picked it up purely because it was weird and wacky and odd. And that is the Naki Super Pad for the Xbox. Now this is not Super Pad, Spider Pad. I'm sorry, Spider Pad. And this is actually a Marvel branded controller. It says Marvel on the back there, which is pretty amazing. And it's got the spider on top, and it's got these gigantic knobs to put in your palms. And so this controller, I would say, is not comfortable, but it is interesting. Now everything you need is right there, very close, and the triggers actually bounce back pretty quickly, so that's pretty good. The controller analog sticks are nice. The D-pad is one of the weirdest D-pads I've seen. It's got the start and back button. I don't know what BACH means, but it's there. Then you got the turbo, the clear, the A, B, X, Y, and then the black and the white buttons. So it's got everything you need to play on your Xbox. So if you are wanting to pull out that copy of Spider-Man and play on your Xbox, you've got a controller that goes well with it right here. Now this is weird and I don't think it's comfortable, but I figured I'd talk about it just because it is purely interesting and odd and weird, and I've actually never seen one of these in person other than the time when I picked this up. So I saw it and I had to pick it up at the flea market, and it's weird, so I had to talk about it here. Okay, so the last controller we're going to talk about is yet again a weird and wacky controller. It is wired, but that is the Gamester. What is this called exactly? I don't remember exactly what this is called. It's a weird name if I remember correctly, but it's a very strange way to hold it. Basically there's triggers down here, you've got your joysticks there, you've got a D-pad down below, then your A and your B and your X and the Y are like trigger buttons, but for your thumb, or for your index finger, not your index finger, your ring finger and your middle finger. So those buttons are all down below here and here. That way you guys can see what's happening. You've got your black and white button over here, your start and back obviously, but then you have menu, reset, and enter, and then P1, P2, and P3. And actually an LCD or an LED, whatever, it's a screen on the front there. This is a weird controller all around. It only has one memory card slot, but it's an interesting controller for sure. Now I only paid $5 for this at the flea market, and as you can tell, this is a very beat up, very abused controller, but honestly, it feels comfortable. It's probably a great controller for shooters, but I don't know. I can't find the real use to actually using this. Maybe like a twin stick shooter, but the way it is, it's not really right for me. So I think it's interesting, and I think I got to keep it in my collection because it was cheap and different and weird, and when I saw it I knew I had to have it, but it's not the most comfortable thing in my opinion, but that's just me. Okay, so last but not least, I gotta bring out the Mountain Dew Xbox to show off this ridiculous Zenith TV screen. It's collapsible and it plugs into actually the outlet that the AV comes in, and then it kind of stretches over like that, and then you fold it up. Didn't work that time. I had trouble with it the first time I used it too. So let's make sure everything is secured there, and then I'll pull this up, and then I will show you exactly what it looks like. It looks like it's still trying to come up, but that's okay. Here you go. You've got this ridiculous screen. I'm gonna go ahead and take it off the Xbox. That way it's just a little bit easier to show you guys. Okay, so you have the Zenith screen here. You guys know Zenith was a huge TV manufacturer back in the day, and so this is no different. Now, it does have a power light, and then it has a power on and off, and then it's got brightness and volume. You can also plug in a headphone if you want to. There's a headphone jack, and this is something that I thought was cool. It actually swivels, and then actually can close down, so the screen is even protected there. So I think this is very awesome right here. Now it does have some weird things on the back. It has an AVN that is a cable that goes actually and plugs into the Xbox for the audio and video, and then it has another plug for the power, of course. But this is weird and wacky, and I actually bought this at a Goodwill for $10, and it was in the box. This is totally awesome. I wanted to talk about it because it's so sick. It's just weird and wacky, and so I figured why not show it off and show you exactly what this is, because it's weird and I've never seen this exact Zenith one before. But that is a bunch of awesome stuff on the Xbox original. Now, the Xbox original had a ton of weird and wacky controllers. You've got that huge battle battalion game with the whole deck. But honestly, these are what I have in my collection that are weird and wacky, and honestly, there are a ton of cool things here. I wanted to show you guys exactly kind of some weird things that are kind of out of the box that aren't normal for this video, so that is why I picked what I did. Now, some may say, hey, well, that DVD player remote or the Logitech wireless controller, it's not that normal. Or it is that normal, but it's really not for when it was released and all that. So I wanted to talk about that. So I want to know what you have in your Xbox collection. Comment down below and let me know what's the weirdest or oddest thing that you have in your collection for the Xbox original. With that being said, I want to say thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell notification because it lets you know when I post more videos, which is every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And one last time, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you stay safe, wash your hands, practice social distancing, stay 6 feet away from everyone, but make sure, one last time, make sure you have a good day.